All right, so a little bit ago, we found out that Saudi Arabia has now cut diplomatic ties with Iran. The two sides are clashing over the execution of a prominent Shiite cleric. Iran is promising Saudi Arabia will pay for killing Sheikh al-Namir. The U.S. is now encouraging diplomacy to keep tensions from escalating. The Fox News political insiders are back, Doug, Pat, and John. All right, Pat, I want to start with you. This is particularly dire because we knew that this was coming. And John, you just made the point, we can't stop them from executing someone. What do we do? I mean, Saudi Arabia is our ally. In Iran, we just did that, you know, that deal that had all the side stuff that we haven't actually seen. The
one they haven't signed, the deal they have not yet even signed. Look, let me say something. Today, this morning, I did the horrific thing of watching all the morning shows. Okay?
Why is that horrific?
You've elevated your blood pressure.
It's just infuriating because, do you know, not on a single one of them did they mention what's happening in the Middle East today between Saudi Arabia and whatever. Nor did one of them even mention Obama and his promise on sanctions that they pulled back because the Iranians said no. We have a feckless administration that can't stop anything. We have an ally in Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states, the Sunnis, and Obama is determined to make Iran our ally, which is most Americans think is crazy. We have a situation out of control, and everybody wants to cover up on this. And Americans know that this is dangerous stuff. This is the way to go to war. This is when Iran...
By the way,
let me just make the last point. Iran seizes the embassy in Tehran. I mean, their people do. And they're now threatening war. This is dangerous stuff because we've lost our power.
So, Pat,
all right, hold on one second. I want to take just a breath on the words that I wrote down that you said. This is the way that we could go to war.
Right.
Okay, talk.
Well, picking up on that, Pat is the one of us who was in the White House in '79 when the Shah fell and the revolution began in Iran. And if I had said that day, when that happened, that the next president of the United States would be Ronald Reagan, no one would have believed it. But that event brought Reagan to the presidency. That event, more than anything else, the hostages, the Middle East turmoil, this thing is going to bring the next president of the United States. And today, if you had to bet of all the candidates, the one guy who's in the middle of this thing already, it's Trump. He's the one strong figure in a puddle of nothing. He's the one guy.
If people wonder why I love you guys so much, because even when I'm not on the air for Fox Report, I often will reach out to all of you so we can kind of go deeper. So I want to do that now, something that you and I would probably do off camera, go deeper on that. Ronald Reagan brought something to the mix that the country needed. What does the country need now? And you just pointed to Donald Trump. What exactly is he?
Leadership. It's the idea that someone will not be pushed around. We have watched the failure, and I really want Doug in this because he's the expert. We have watched the failure of the Bush administration, political class advisors, and Obama's fecklessness in foreign policy. And they really want somebody who will stand up for America, I think. What do you think, Doug? I mean, I'm sorry. I mean,
well, Pat, I completely agree with what you and John are saying, and let me speak from a Democratic perspective. Hillary Clinton has a huge challenge because she and Bill Clinton understand better than anyone that the Obama administration has failed and failed utterly. And with the Saudis and the Iranians potentially on the brink of an armed conflict, with Syria still a complete mess, with the Russians categorizing us as a grave national security risk to them, we run the risk of being in a multi-phased, cataclysmic conflict that could involve a hot war before the end of this year. Those are, I know, extreme words, and we haven't heard anything from Hillary Clinton breaking explicitly with Obama to make it clear what she would do differently, because John is right. This is going to define the election.
Will we hear from her, just real quickly?
We need to. Wow. We absolutely need to.
Well, and that's the issue.
Are you climbing out of the tank a little bit?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I'm just telling the truth, John.
Give that man a towel.
He's not going to be on the next Christmas Clinton holiday list.
I don't think so.